Okay. So this lesson we're going to talk about Bash scripting basic, right? So first talk about the shebang line. Um so for my end, because of Mac OS and because they usually keep it to a stable version like Bash. So my Bash version is this, but I installed updated it, but C is 5.3. So my shebang line is not the basic one, but the basic shebang line is this hashtag um uh, bin slash bash. This is the basic shebang line, but mine is different. It's user bin slash env bash. Right. So that is my own shebang line. Just copy it just in case. So um so shebang is basically can also be called as hashbang or shabang. It's the very first line of every bash script. Tells the OS use this interpreter to run this file, basically. So yes, now we're going to talk about making a script executable. So writing a script doesn't automatically make it runnable. You must grant executable permission to that script. So let's do touch my script dot sh. Just created it. So I'm going to do ch mode. So it grants this basically grants executable permissions to the file owner, which is me. So I'm doing going to do plus x my script dot sh. So um then after doing this to run it, I just need to do this dash that and the script will be run. You can also you can also run it with bash. If you run it with bash, if you run it with bash, you don't really need to make the script executable. When I mean with bash, you can just run it with bash my script. You don't need to do this ch mode and this two commands. It's just run. So let's just do this dot sh to run it. So basically ch mode is basically to change a file permission plus x to make it executable. Then you can do u plus x, which will make it executable for only the owner, or you can do 755, which will make it executable for everyone. So now I'm going to talk about variables. Let me let's do rf my script dot sh. So multiply. So I'm going to nano create another my script dot what sh. So let me paste what I told you earlier that I need to put mine is different. So variables, if you're from the program, variables are just they store a value for reuse. When you are running putting a variable in bash script, you it is basically no space between the equals to sign. Let me just equals to Sam, right? Port is equals to let's see 8080. It's not supposed to be plus. So you can see numbers doesn't have the double quotation. Server URL say is equals to HTTPS. Let me see. xyz.com. Right. So if you want to use a variable, you have to put the dollar sign basically. Let's just make use of it. Hello, hello, hello. Then I put the dollar sign. Then the name, the variable. Then I give it name. Just turn this to a, and just put everything in capital letter. AME. Let me see. AME. So support. So another way to use the variable is with basically with curly brackets. This is actually best practice to avoid confusion, and it's just best practice. So against the URL is, let's see, or let's see, let's use server URL slash health, right? So you can also do something called command substitution, which stores the command output in a variable. So let's do current date. Let's say equals to dollar sign, so date plus y basically let's see this running some command this d. This for command substitution. Let's see host name, right? Let's do now let's do ls echo where's that? So date say this, say current date on host. Let's see, do this host name. So we're going to X, Ctrl X, yes, save this. So let's do bash. See, I didn't need to I remember I deleted in my script and I made it executable. So if I use bash, I don't really need to make it executable. So say show the date, the host, admin map, blah blah blah. So now let me run it like this. It won't work, permission denied. So what I have to do, I have to make it what? Executable. So now if I run it, it will run. So that is that. Let me just say common pitfall is you shouldn't give a space between the equals to sign and the variable, it won't work. Right? It doesn't work that way. One of the major pitfalls. So now, I'm going to basically use positional arguments, right? When you run a script with arguments, Bash makes them available as basically this one and this, but this is just the syntax of how it is, etc. So now let's try it out. Let's test out what I'm saying. So add it to the bottom of the file so we keep track of what we're doing. So let me say echo script script name 0. Let's say first argument. So this is for second argument. Uh, second argument. And this is for all arguments. Use an @ sign. And this is for the number of arguments. Use a hashtag. So now to run it, Ctrl X, save. So now let's run the script. We'll do this, then we'll put, remember, we just do a cat to list out everything. So remember, this is for the script name, the first argument, the second argument, all arguments, and the number of arguments. So the arguments are basically like just the words. So you saw what I mean now. I'll do like um let's do Sam DevOps. So let it run. So you can see it replaced the first script name. It took on the script name, took on the first argument, the second argument, all the arguments, and the number of the arguments. So basically, let me say a practical DevOps use is basically just like passing environment and URL, right? If you want to pass environment and URL, you can just do that fast. So now I'm going to go into reading user input. So let me go to Nano. You know what? Let me just create a new script. Say Nano. Let's say user script .sh. So I have to redo what I did. User /bin /env then bash. So we use basic. I'm just going to write this fast so that won't take much time. So this is basically about reading the user input. This enter your name, to echo your username. To this input, this is just a basic input. But this is input with a timeout. It's useful in automation with fallback. So you read that D, say choose the answer Y or N. Then this is silent input for password. It basically hides what the user types in. So let's run it. Let's try it out. This is bash. Bash. So my name is what? Sam. Yeah, hello Sam. Do you want to continue? Yes, I do. Password. Let me see. Let's put a password. So that's captured the password. So that is basically the script. Basic user input, read -p, enter your name, print, enter your name, stores the username. It's like variables. If you are familiar with programming, variables. This it reads and set a timer of 10 seconds to continue. Yes or no, takes an answer, continues. Then silent input where it will basically suppresses what the user puts in. It just captures the characters and displays it. So that's it. Now we're going to go to if or else functions, right? So what we'll do is that we'll let me just delete this. Let me delete all of this. I'm going to if or else function. Just make this fast. Okay, so this is for if and else, right? So we're setting status code as 200. This is a basic if and else. Um, sorry, this is a basic if and else code. So if you open the square bracket, the status code this is a numeric operator equal to this any if or not equal to. There are a lot of them, you can check them out. But if the status code is equal to 200, then echo services up, else echo service is down. Then this is closing of the if and else condition. Then this is for if, else if, and else. This is for when you have like multiple else type of condition. The first one for just the basic if and else condition. So if the status code is going to 200, then echo okay. Else if the status code is equals to 404, then echo not found. Then likewise for if it's 500, then server not found. So now this is basically a string comparison operator if and else. So if the env is equals to production, then echo running in prod, then closing the if. Then if z is basically for like an empty string. If it's empty, if env is empty, then it says that echo env not set. Then -n is true if not empty, right? So -m is for not empty. If env is not empty, you said that env is set to. This is basically to show what env is set to. This is to find out if env set prod. This is find out if env is set or not. Then go to the last. Now we will run it. Go to the last if and else statement. So if the file exists, that's what this flags for dash f. The file exists, that is this file. Then you show that nginx config is not found. If dash d, this directory exists, you echo that this directory exists. If this file is executable, you echo that okay, a coil is executable, sorry. So now let's just basically close this and let's run it. Bash. So as you can see, service is up. We set what? Let's do cat user script .sh. So first condition will be checked for first. Service is up because we set our start code to 200. We set our production to env to production. That's why I'm saying environment is running and the env is set to production. So this is available, directory exists, and coil is available. All the conditions we're checking for. So now let's go to loops, right? Let me create a nano loops .sh. So I believe everybody is familiar with loops. So this is a for loop and it's basically looping over several stuff. This is looping over a static list. Then this loops over a an amount of numbers, while this loops over this particular condition, right? Then this loops over an array. Then this loops over a command, basically a command output. So just run it to see the outcome. Let's save this. Let's say bash. So I can see it looped throughout all those commands, and let's do a cat. So it's just like, let's say it's just like a basic form of programming, but it's called bash scripting. So it's just a normal loop command that loops through a certain amount of of conditions, give it, and it displays the output condition that is required. Now we'll go to error codes, right? Let me cancel this. Let me clear. Let me create another. So we're going to run through error handling, right? So the dash E flag, right, is just to exit the script. This dash E flag to exit the script immediately if any command fail. Dash U is to exit if you use an undefined or unset variable, while dash O is basically exit if it's basically exit if any command in a what? Okay, so dash O is basically together is a dash O pipeline. It basically checks if any, it basically ends the command if any of these fail. You know, a piping joins to command. So it ends if any of, if this pass and this fails, it ends. If this fails and this pass, it's supposed to be it ends. That's what the dash O is for. So let's just run it and see it. So without set dash E, this will continue even after failure, right? So this will continue without, even with failure coming. So without setting dash e, this whole thing will continue without, even after failure. If the command fail, it will continue after failure without setting dash u, right? Typo silently becomes empty string. So there's no, it will not pick up on empty strings and non-set variables. So without, as I explained this, without this dash o pipe fill, this will not end the command, right? Even if one of the commands fails. So let's run it to see bash error dot sh. So basically ended the full script because of the first condition. Because so as you can see, it basically ends the command on any failure of all these, right? Ends the command. It started with this and it ended the command. Let's see if I remove that. See that the command will end at the second condition. That's for the dash u. Let's see. So x, y. Let's run it. So you see, it's the second condition that I failed on. There is no variable, so it's unbound. So that is it on error handling EUO. So now we'll go to let's say echo and exit code. Let me create, let's clear this. Let me create. So echo dot, let's just leave it as echo dot sh. So now I already used echo before, but what this is prints to s. This is standard output. Is like where the result of a program goes. So echo hello world, echo server basically just prints to the standard output. So this prints without a new line, without giving a space. It prints, let me say, loading and done. It prints with escape sequences, right? It's basically adding a new line to all of it. So it prints to standard error. This is like best for error messages, echo error, config, blah blah. It prints to standard error. So these are basically error codes. This, the dollar sign and the question mark, holds the exit code of the last command run. Then 0 is for success, while anything else is for failure. So if you do coil example.com, it echoes coil exit code this. If it works, it will basically echo 0 if it works. While if you list this, I click and you type echo ls exit code dollar sign question mark, it will, if there is no path called like this, it will say no such file. Then you can use, this was an example of using this sign in a condition ping dash c will map if this is not equals to 0, and if it's not, like it doesn't reach anything, to echo failed, host not reach. If not, to echo what, pass. So this is basically your own exit code, right? This exit code: 0 for success, 1 for general error, 2 for misuse of command. Say if that z and we put this, it will what? To echo no argument, no argument provided, and if not, it will echo argument, got argument, and this. Now let's print that out and see the output. So what does it say? Hello world. Server is what? Admin. Let's cut it. So the first command output is what? Echo the host name. The host name is what? Admin blah blah local. See, it printed without the new line. This printed them with different new line. This it didn't find the config file, so it showed config file not found. Then this, right? It printed 0 because there's an example.com out there. Then this, it printed this because there was no file. Showed the execute one. Then it was able to also like reach Google, which printed this pass over here. Then what was the last one? Yeah, I think that's it. Then this showed argument not found because I did not provide an argument with my cat or my bash. That is it for echoes and basic errors. Yeah, so that is basically it. Just a quick reminder about the difference between the Mac and Linux. The Macs, I am using that in Linux. Basically, you use this, right? But I'm using the other shebang argument or shebang phrase. I'm using this because I'm using a Mac and I had to install it separately. So that is basically it for this lesson.